Welcome to Not a Great Whisperer podcast. This is your host, Katy Ray. I am joined from my favorite cousin in New York, Chuck Safy. We're having an interview today. He didn't make it to Florida, so we made it happen through Zoom. Shout out to Zoom. Chuck, welcome. Are you going to say thank you for having me, Katy? Fuck.
So excited to be here.
Are you going to thank everyone? Listen, Chuck's big time now. Business owner, Chuckuterie. Boom, New York, making boards, meats, cheeses, all the things. Tell us about it. You're 30 now, bro, and you did it. You're here. You are a business owner. Boom, go.
Okay, first of all, stop bringing up age because it hurts deep down inside. But yeah, man, 30 is like a revelation. You have to figure out where you're at. Where do you want to be? And then you see all these other people who are making all this money. They're their own boss, blah, blah, blah. So you're like, I have to do something for myself.
Blah, blah, blah. You know, blah, 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 blah. Motivation, inspiration, whatever. Fuck it.
I quit my job. I said, this is too stressful. Gained a ton of weight, lots of stress. Couldn't do it anymore. Didn't like the path I was on. So you quit. I tried to do this instead. It's only been going on since August. And there's actually been a lot of progress. A lot of good stuff has come out of it. I found a lot of wholesalers within New York City, which is awesome because everybody else that's local gets stuff basically just from like Trader Joe's. So the product is elite, obviously, because
you're elite.
What else would we be having? It's always the best of the best. Mm-hmm. You know? So yeah, hopefully now with some events, event regulations opening up, be able to get some weddings, graduation parties, people getting together and just laughing over some meat and cheese together, you know?
Usual. First of all, you did this during a pandemic. That's a big stress.
Whoops.
Oopsie. First, so it was a lot of house parties, a lot of these are the new thing. I mean, your timing is impeccable. These bitches are everywhere. Charcuterie boards are fucking everywhere. And lots you are VIP. Lots of competition. That does have to be pretty hard.
Yes. Because everybody's all about the look, and the look is part of it. But you got to make sure the food tastes good. I mean,
fuck the look.
Our background, if the food doesn't taste good, the whole evening is ruined.
And everybody's talking shit about you.
Exactly. And we can't have negative feedback.
And what are you bringing to the table? Tell us about your background. Pretend I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Great. Big eaters in the family, real big eaters. Quality and quantity, both very important. Tons of catering experience. So everything is just feeding people and making them have cocktails and laughing and dancing. Every day is just a party.
Every day is a fucking party. First of all, though, you have Italian, Lebanese.
We're Italian. We're Lebanese. Everything is just...
We're fucking everything. We have people that married that were first cousins or great grandparents. I mean, so we know family. You know, we know how to bring the family to the table. No big deal. We're just going to run by that comment like no big deal.
Yeah, sure. Fine.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no big deal. And let's just talk about our souls are like old souls. Like you'll sit there, hang out with your grandma's sister for hours to shoot the shit. Like you know how to bring the party for all ages to the table.
Old souls. We are very blessed by having our elders in our lives. Having so many great aunts and our grandparents around for so long. So our range with entertainment is
amazing. It's like the best experience to have.
Yeah. And they love it too. Cause now, they feel like they're in with what's going on.
Oh yeah.
And they're all a wild card anyway. So half the time their comments are crazier than my own.
How was your support system while making this jump?
Shockingly huge.
Oh, isn't that crazy? Were you scared to tell your parents?
Yeah, it took 3 months for me to actually quit my job because I kept second guessing that this was the bad move. And I go back to my parents and be like, so what do you think? And they're just like, yeah, do it. Just do it. You're so unhappy. Just do it. I was like, really? Are you sure? Because you guys are very much into this job can support X, Y, and Z. There is stability here. And I am literally telling you I'm going to leave that and take a very big risk because I don't do a whole lot of risk taking with money because that stuff's terrifying. I can't live paycheck to paycheck. I don't know how some people do it.
Oh, I feel you. But I think it's amazing, right? Because, they do instill stability. Like your parents, they're stability, they want you to feel good and stuff, but they saw that you were unhappy. Yeah,
Yes.
You're a badass in anything you do is what they saw, right? Badass.
Yeah. I mean, my mom has almost every single day asked me about if I need help with orders, if I need help organizing something, if she needs to research something for me, a product or whatever. And then dad's there for whatever I need if I ask him. So they're both very supportive in their own ways.
Dad's more manual labor. So he will knock down a wall for you and create a bigger kitchen, if you need to.
Yep.
Exactly.
We almost bought a building.
I thought you did.
Didn't get it. So this guy put this building up and put a price range up. Obviously, I went on the lower end because why would you go in high? And then he decided to pull the plug on the properties. So I didn't get it. But that's okay. It means wrong time. Find something else for now.
That's how you got to think. You were pissed though at the time. But timing's everything. Timing's
everything. So that's cool. We'll wait for something else that's bigger and better.
Bigger and better, also amazing. So what's your vision? So where are you right now at Chuckuterie?
Right now, still feels very beginning stages. Okay. So it's trying to make that big jump, which I think this summer will help make the jump. Since August, everything was just up to a large board, which feeds 12 people. So people were coming to grab those for their own small events they were having at their houses with their immediate families. Christmas and New Year's were huge, huge days, awesome. Which were great to see how this all was going to function if I had a lot of orders in a day. But that's not where I want it to stay. I'd rather it be just large scale events.
Parties, corporate and stuff like that.
Yeah, even if they're house parties too, is being able to put a whole table together instead of just one small board, because that's when you really have to have such a grasp on your price. You really can't buy wholesale if you only have 6 small boards to do.
Yeah.
We can do large boards as long as I have big events going on too, because in the end that makes it cheaper for everybody else anyway.
I feel so fucking fancy that I know how many boards means, I feel super I'm I know what you're saying, man. Charcuterie. Okay, so is ultimate goal having this storefront, kitchen front so that you can do shipped orders?
Shipped orders would be amazing. I think.
And that's where you'd, of course, make the orders too, of course, and people could come in and order and talk to you.
Yeah, they could come in and grab them. They could come and do classes. I could host some small events myself. So it has to have outdoor space, this location.
I love that you're doing classes too, because it's listen, I'm here for your big parties, but if you want to get a board all set up at your house, this is how you're going to fucking do it.
Yeah, you don't always need me to do the whole thing.
Yeah, and I'm here to help.
At least get the stuff from me, because not everybody's going to be able to get it at the right price.
If you want to do big boards, come to Chuckuterie, get your boards here, live your life. He's here to help and make you elite. Is that a cool new marketing campaign for you? You're welcome.
It's really amazing.
I'm excited for you to bring boards to Tampa. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Tampa boards.
We're doing a whole table for your little soiree.
Oh, a little table. It's really good to use and abuse your family members who are awesome at what they do. Yeah.
We're gluttons for it.
I'm not really great at anything, but you guys can use me for whatever you want. Not a great whisperer. We're not great whisperers. I'm bringing voicemails back for people. Chuck's a big part of it because he was the only one to answer my voicemail with complete answers. You ask 3 questions, leave a voicemail for people. If their voicemail's not set up, delete them from your phone. It's rude. It's not cool to not have that, right? You leave a voicemail, 3 points, have them call you back with those 3 points. Bonding, talking, love. Everybody's family, right?
Yeah, I mean, the turnaround on that was 4 minutes?
You did great. Even on a work day, you nailed it. So let's.
Katie called. I gotta go.
Talk about how our crazy family has really brought this whole idea to life. Just because we eat so much food.
That's the hardest part of this job is realizing how much food is too much food, which everybody thinks there's never enough food. But a lot of people don't understand
what never enough means, and you see it.
Literal mass quantities of food have been produced.
I think when you come to visit, Like we go to visit our family in New York and like everybody always has food on the counters. And every stop you make in the same day, that's a little bit much. Like this probably isn't good for your body, but it's love, you know? It's love.
Yeah, I mean, consuming 5,000 calories in a day would not be out of the question if you were to visit or if I were to visit.
How hard is it not to like be like, gotta try this meat real quick, gotta try this cheese, just no carbs, it's fine.
Yeah, because like you have to try some of it in the beginning, but then you're just like, obviously not every piece that you try makes it, because something gets a little jagged or whatever, you know, not everything is
A little scraps, a little bit of scrappy.
Yeah, so you have these scraps, you're just like, oh my God, if I'm on this path, I'm just going to be a whole block of cheese by the end of the day.
Listen, I think I'm not allowed to bring up your age again because you yelled at me in the beginning, but I think this is a huge year. And you're, listen, I think you're young. I'm 6 years older than you, but this is such a huge year. You're a super young entrepreneur. You did it. You pulled the trigger. Well, like for your business. And you did it. Like you took that leap and that's like the main step. And you did
That is
it.
the main step. So now the rest just has to, you know, we just got to figure the rest of it out. Hopefully I'll be at a wedding show at this new location called Powerhouse. That's in Buffalo. We'll be able to do a show. It has COVID, you know, regulations. X amount of people can come in. They all have like 90 minutes to go through all the tables and stuff. But I think that will be a huge piece to the puzzle for the rest of this summer.
Well, it's just getting your name out there.
Yeah. And like as much as social media is wonderful, there's so many outlets for people to look at that you can be over so easily. And I do way better in person than I do posting stuff.
Ditto. I so feel that. And I think events are going to be great for you. I think you starting a business in the middle of a pandemic, especially in New York.
Especially in New York. Exhausting. They're exhausting here.
Like I am still amazed. But again, it's word of mouth and that's how you build your network. And you come from event planning, killing it, hospitality. So it's not like you didn't have that experience. So you're bringing that to the table. But I just think every day you have a hard day, you should just remember that you opened in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
And be like, here I am. Yeah. And how do you feel now? Like on your rough days, like, oh my gosh, I did this. Like, what do you do for inspiration?
Inspiration? I just look at what other people have going on, but not locally. I just look at what stuff's going on in like California. There's a couple places in Europe that I've followed, because if you just keep looking at the ones that are local, everybody ends up kind of just borrowing from the other person anyway and having the same ideas. And that's the last thing I want to have is that much silver product. End of the day, yeah, we all have the same baseline, but it's the way that it's being presented and the way we're challenging how people are helping entertain their guests. So it's not just, oh, it's goat cheese, yay.
Oh my
Okay, let's amp that up. Did you know you can do X, Y, and Z with this?
Oh, yay to goat cheese. But I also think just your passion for it it just brings it to life. The board. Also, you're going to do an awesome photo shoot coming up.
Yes, May 2nd. Vintage style shoot.
Okay, that's the real shoot. My shoot for
that's
him
the real shoot.
is him with sausage and cheese and a board. The end. But his real one, vintage, live your life, whatever. Do your awesome shoot, but don't use mine, whatever.
Obviously, I'll send it to you guys so you can see these pictures.
Oh, website update. But I feel like on your hard days, all you have to remember is where you started. I mean, I think it's really cool, right? I heard you talk about the idea. Then we really talked about the idea with Kevin and Brandon at Became Creative. And I was just like, damn, this is real. It was so cool, right?
Once like the website was happening, I was like, wait a minute.
And the logo and just
this website is so legitimate. Like some people will call and think I have like a storefront been in business for like 15 years.
They're like, oh, we got Chuck. That's crazy. Is one of your team members there?
And if you could include like a comment card, I was like, a comment card? I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this comment card. I'm not a florist with all these cards.
Okay.
And people want comment cards. So yeah, a lot of that too has been figured out.
Cool. Do you have your business cards?
Oh yeah, we got business cards.
It's so amazing to just like hand them out to people.
Yeah, that almost feels weird. Like I'm still not to the point where I feel like
Comfortable handing it to
anybody
people.
takes it seriously, you know?
I love
They're
it.
like, so what do you do? And I'm just like, oh, I own Chuckuterie. And they're just like, what? And then you kind of explain it, but then you also kind of like feel dumb explaining it because it's not like revolutionary. So somebody's like,
But
wow.
it is. Oh my God,
They're
life's
kinda
going
like,
to change.
sounds good. I love meat and cheese. I was like, yeah, I bet you do. It's literally part of every diet is meat and cheese.
Yeah, I know. I know you do. Thank you. I do.
lots
I
of-
love that. I like that is so true. Like, when does it become real for you? Like, it came real for all of us because we're like, oh my God, he's doing it. But you're like
Yeah.
still in that, like, is this real?
Yeah, it's like this hasn't really happened yet. I think once some of these weddings happen,
Mm-hmm.
then that will be when I get to like pack up and like head down to Chautauqua for the day and set up this crazy table. That'll be real.
Oh,
I did do my friends during the pandemic. She had an outdoor wedding still before, everything really became absolute chaos. And it went really well. So that was positive. And in my mind, it did not like look as good as I wanted it to. And things didn't, like I didn't do enough prep.
Yeah.
Before a lot of it happened there. So it was still like a huge trauma for me, but everybody else there was so happy and they ate
All of it.
literally everything.
Well, that's what's so awesome too. Like, as hard it is open your own business during a pandemic, you got to kind of slowly and gradually fail and succeed in like a slower pace and just getting bombarded with like all this. And now you finally found like a process where like things will run smooth, where you could have weddings every weekend, soon.
Right. Which would be the goal because honestly,
Which will happen.
Once you can do that, you end up having a lot more free time. Then I can actually go to these places like I did in the beginning, traveled to New York City, went and saw my brother and best friend, and we went to different shops and grabbed stuff and said, okay, what do we like from what places?
Yeah.
Do you want to sign up for wholesaling or not? And everybody has really been amazing in the wholesaling places too. They're just like, so we've noticed you're definitely on a smaller scale. It's like, yes, but I'm in now. But later on, you guys, we can be doing the big stuff later on. And then maybe, who knows, maybe I'll be in New York City and Tampa all the time.
Oh my God, don't threaten me with a good time. I also think one of the coolest things is like that one initial, like, yeah, I'm going to get wholesale pricing. And they're like, who are you? And you're like, I'm Chuckuterie. Like, who are you? Like,
They all love the name too, just because I hated it.
I know. Was that Elise?
That was Elise, yeah. We were at Aunt Colette's pool and they were just like, you know what it has to be?
Listen, when my friend at work I said, I'm just not a great whisperer. And he goes, that's your name of your podcast. And I go, what? And he's like, you're not. And I was like, what? Okay. You're right.
First I found out she did it. I was like, this is amazing. She really isn't. She's the furthest thing.
I'm so bad. Like, I'm not good at it. She's the furthest thing. So, I mean, if we're not talking business, we're talking about Miami nights, Chuck coming into town, best friends,
Pastries.
us taking over the world during the day, drinking. Having those memories is something every cousin should have.
That was peak performance right there. That's like me at 22 to 25.
Which is a great year for you. So that's me at 30, at the age you can't say. Well, no,
You're still 26 to me, Katie.
22. Oh, sweet. No, mine's like 28 to 30 because we did before kids and we did after Jaden, where we were just like.
Yeah, we really haven't seen much of each other since the kids. Blame them.
How dare them. But I feel like
wow, pre-kids was amazing.
Pre-kids. I mean, we can still have parties. We just haven't traveled a lot.
Yeah, we just haven't had a whole lot of 2 for $20 evenings on South Beach.
First of all, those are good. And see, you bring that to the table at your business. You bring party life, family life, friend life, feeding others. I was always fed. I
know my friends usually are. I don't think they're not like upset anymore. They just like shake their heads at this point. Some just expect if I'm like, yeah, swing by for dinner real quick. In their minds, that's like
a burger. Like,
yeah, it's very, very simple. Then all of a sudden the entire table is filled with food. And they're just like, I thought I was just
swinging by for one plate.
I got sandwich, 6 different kinds of salads. I got this in the air fryer. This is coming off the grill. I have this dessert in the freezer. And they're like, what is happening?
So how
And now
have
they
you,
just back to not eat the whole day if they're hanging out with me.
you've definitely lost weight. How is that possible with your tables of food?
How is it possible? Starve yourself.
No, he's kidding.
No, not really.
Feed
Not
others, don't eat. What?
yeah. Okay, but no, for real, I did the Arbonne 30 days, which still basically cuts out all the fun stuff, alcohol and dairy and gluten.
Listen,
Yeah,
all that cheese around you, that's hard. That's discipline.
So difficult.
Oh my God.
So I would save it and put it in little packages and then just like send scraps to friends because they don't care. I was like, here's your like scrap board because I can't eat this right
Why
now.
do I have an envelope of cheese from Chuck? Oh, he's on Arbonne 30. Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah. That is. See, like you can do stuff. I always, fuck, I feel that. So what? You've been staying healthier though, but because you're happy at your job.
That too. I mean, the amount of stress has decreased immensely.
But are you always in your own head? Like, will this succeed? Are we going to do, like, are you always in your head?
I find myself every now and then being like,
imposter syndrome.
Like you're not doing enough. What else should you be doing? And then I kind of look around. I'm just like, there really isn't much else for me to be doing right now because nothing is going on.
I have a great idea. You should go door to door and knock and see if people want a board.
I'm just going to bring a cooler of boards done and just sell door to door.
Oh my God, you could.
Instead of vacuums.
Taking charcuterie, taking charcuterie boards to another level, kind of like vacuum sales. Why wouldn't you go door to door and sell meat and cheese on a board?
Right. Instead of vacuuming your carpet, I'm going to put this board on you.
You're so welcome. When you become a billionaire doing this, just throw me some cash.
Yeah, of course.
So your dad is a business owner.
He is.
Has he given you any tips or is he just like live your life?
Overall, he's been fairly quiet. His biggest piece so far has been to make sure that I am like an LLC or just in a position where they can't take my house.
Oh, he's so cute.
Like, okay, thank you. Obviously, don't want anybody to take my house because it's finally in a position that I really like it.
Thank you, Dad.
Take anything but the house.
That's the only business tips he's given you?
So far.
Uncle John, step it up. He'll listen.
He has like his business is totally different. And like the way he does business is different from mine. Even though we are very much alike, as a lot of people like to point out. But it's just, it's a different industry.
Yeah, totally different industry. But maybe you guys can collab for Christmas time. Santa dropping a charcuterie board down a chimney.
Yep. So I'm going to have him
gift.
Make a brick chimney and you would remove the bricks to expose another layer of the charcuterie.
Perfect. Gosh, we are just like, this podcast is so productive. I'm going to charge Chuck for it. So, okay. What are your ultimate goals in the next 5 years for this?
Next 5 years, for this to be completely self-sustaining.
I think that's totally doable.
Have all recyclable materials. The wholesalers are obviously awesome, but still making sure that I can tap into other, just like the farms themselves or whatever, like new people are coming up, being able to support them still, because obviously you can get comfortable with somebody who is established, but if they start getting bigger and there's newer people starting out, you still want to be able to support that person too. Yeah. Just same way that they support these huge restaurants that order wholesale from them, but also I have the opportunity to do that.
How many employees do you want to have under your team?
I want to have? Ooh.
Well, how many in your mind do you think for event-wise? Because you'd be doing like the classes, but like event-wise, how many employees do you think you'll need to like go to events and stuff?
At what I imagine it being its peak, I probably wouldn't want it to be more than like 10.
That's perfect.
Because that way everybody can be on the same page. People can still have a life and be off because I know exactly what that's like. Because it is still weekends, obviously, that these people are going to work.
Rotating and stuff, and you'd have a team.
Yeah. They're like, hey, I want to go away this weekend. Okay. It's not like I'm always booking 10 events every weekend and forcing
everybody to do it. Yeah. And that's really important to have that experience because you were miserable doing that every weekend.
Yeah. And, part of it was in my own head because myself and my partner, we took it so personally if we weren't there, mainly because we were working with these couples in these weddings and these events, and they were disappointed if you weren't there. Not that it could make or break their entire day, but by the end of that night, they still remember
who was there,
if you're there, and
it's kind of
how you interacted with their family and everything. There's a bunch of couples that I still talk with and hang out with on a regular basis, which is amazing.
That type of person.
Friends with them.
Yeah, I mean, you're at one of the most important times of their life, and that's what you can do now. So you're not losing the part you loved.
Yeah,
you're bringing that.
Yeah, and what's cool is in that respect, if they got married with us, they may come back for a baby shower or whatever.
Any event.
So I can still do that with them, but I can have more fun with it.
Returning clients.
Yes. Yeah.
Building relationships, charcuterie. All right. So what do you want to tell young, because you're so young, new entrepreneurs about taking the leap and really just doing what makes you happy? What's inspiration?
Do your research. Consult people. Definitely ask opinions because it may sound like a really good idea to you, but if you ask 10 people and they all are just this needs some work.
Reevaluate it.
Put the work in and definitely have a backup plan. Because I had a backup plan. So I work 6 to 2:30, Home Depot. It has the health insurance. I know that I have a steady paycheck coming. So that can help sustain the other business start. And then when we get to the point that I can just not be there and I can do charcuterie full time, then we're there. But you don't want to take the risk where you could potentially just be homeless and broke.
So that is a good example of when you can still make things happen for yourself, but having that little bit of stability that takes away that stress. Because you know that if you were too stressed, you wouldn't have been able to be as successful with charcuterie as you it just, mentally, if you didn't have that little backup, you can't do what you need to do. But of course, end goal is to just do charcuterie, of course.
Yeah. Some people are well, it really motivates you to get moving if that's the only thing you do. And it's yeah, but I am already motivated because you take a huge pay cut from building yourself up in one company for 6 years. And then you're never mind.
I don't want to fully start over. So let me get this still. And I feel your time, the work time is perfect.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It's this is a good time to do this. Very terrifying.
So perfect. Insane amount of perfection. Well, how do we find you, Chuckuterie?
How do you find me? Go to the website from BKN that they created. Website, it is chuckuterie.com. Do you want me to spell it?
Yeah, please. Okay. For my billion listeners. Go ahead.
CHUCKUTERIE.com. Instagram, charcuterie_NY. Because get this, somebody already had the name Chuckuterie on Instagram. 3 posts and they do nothing. So
I remember when we saw that. It was just a group of people drunk one night and just started an Instagram.
Yeah, I was are you kidding me? But I'll tell you what, the NY has been huge on there because everybody thinks it's New York. So there's a bunch of New York City pages that I link up with too.
I love that. So you can find Chuck on Not a Great Whisperer podcast page, at katyray.com, at The Real K Ray, and all over my family photos because Chuck is my cousin. He is my brother from another mother. He's basically me with a beard because we're twins.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yikes.
Oh, you can also look at upstateindyweddings.com.
Oh, what is it?
Upstate Indie Weddings.
Oh, I love that. Is it a link to your website?
There will be a link to the website on there, yeah, but that's a page of other small local vendors that are in Buffalo and Rochester.
Oh, yeah. We forgot to say he's in Buffalo, but that doesn't matter. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. Soon to be ginormous. So this is your first podcast, or have you been on one?
What? Is this the first one?
Oh my gosh, this feels so good because when you're everywhere just making boards for famous people, I'm going to be yo, Chuck was on our podcast,
You'll never forget your first,
Thank you so much. Sure, it's my cousin. No big deal. So we're coming from you from BK Creative. You probably heard the monsoon behind us because it's pouring in Tampa today. Chuck will do a live interview soon when he's in Tampa because it's super important. And I'm so glad you joined the show.
Thank you for asking me to do this because, we always joke about it, but it's only 100 episodes later. It's fine.
It's fine. He's here. It's fine. No, that's not a big deal at all. We love you. Cannot wait to see the big things you do. And make sure to find them on my page. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Love you guys.